Hello, my name is Alicia Waters, and I'm here today to share a practice with you, which is one of my personal favorite practices that I use to deal with difficult times, and I hope that it is helpful and supportive for you as well. The main component of the practice we'll be doing today is something called bhramari breath, which comes from the yogic tradition, and in Sanskrit, bhramari means little black bee. So it's called the bee breath or humming breath also. You may have heard of it in that way. And certainly lots of respect to the yogic tradition for this breath work. But you will find this sort of humming or toning in lots of healing modalities from around the globe because it's so incredibly effective. So before we get into the practice, I just want to talk briefly about why the practice works, what's going on inside of our systems when we do this kind of practice, and why it is so soothing and so calming and so centering to do this kind of humming or toning. And it has everything to do with the nervous system. The nervous system has two main branches. There's the parasympathetic, which is our sort of slowing down, like you can think of the brakes on a car, part of the system, and then there's the sympathetic, which is the amping up or the gas pedal part of the system. And within those two, they're not a distinct binary. There's a lot of blending and kind of melding, and it is a spectrum, as all things are a spectrum, but we're meant to sort of ride the waves, right, of this like gas pedal, brake through different situations. They blend, they sort of peak, they trough. And in a healthy system, we get to experience and have the resources of all of those phases of the nervous system at our disposal. The parasympathetic system, or the parasympathetic phase of the nervous system, is also divided into two parts. And the parasympathetic nervous system is governed by the vagus nerve, sort of the main portal of the parasympathetic. And the vagus nerve is a big nerve that runs right down the center of our body and then splits into two. You can imagine like tree branches. And so there's the ventral vagal complex, or the ventral vagus nerve, which is toward the front of the body. Ventral meaning toward the front, and the dorsal vagus nerve, dorsal meaning toward the back, like a dorsal fin, so the dorsal vagal. The dorsal vagal is like the emergency brake, right? It's that like screech, throw on the brakes. It's when we become so overwhelmed that we just want to curl into a little ball and hide. And it's the shutdown, it's the freeze response. You may have heard of it in that way. And the ventral vagal is the kind of calming down that happens, the slowing down that happens when we really feel safe, when we feel okay where we are, when we feel like, this is okay, I've got this, I can be with this, I'm ready for this. Now, what happens when we experience a lot of stress or trauma or uncertainty or fear is that we often will end up stuck in either the sympathetic, which when we're stuck there feels like hypervigilance, everything feels like a threat, or in the dorsal vagal, where everything feels overwhelming and we're immobilized. And those two responses, when we're really stuck there, it's very unpleasant. It doesn't feel nice. As someone who has experienced both many, many times and been stuck in both at different periods of my life for months or even years, is really an unpleasant, and it's an unsustainable place to be, to live. And so this practice is designed to give us access to that ventral vagal complex, access to the sense that all is well and all will be well, and at least, if nothing else, in this moment, I'm safe, I'm okay. And I just want to say, again, before we dive right into the practice, that this is not to negate any other feelings that you might be having. All your feelings, whatever is arising from this current crisis or anything going on in your personal life, is valid, is absolutely welcome, is fine. This is not to bypass any particular reaction or response. However, that ventral vagal complex, that sense of okayness and safety, is also, it's a part of your biology. It's your birthright. And you need access to that part of yourself in order to resource yourself, to deal with, to be present with, to connect with what's going on in the world around you and inside of you. By using sound and vibration, we can encourage the vagus nerve to send those signals of safety, at the very least just in this moment, up to the mind, right? And it gives us a little bit of respite from whatever other stress or difficulty or uncertainty or problem is appearing in our lives at the moment. So without further ado, let's get into the practice. Before we begin, make sure that you are seated comfortably or lying down comfortably in some kind of comfortable supported position. You can close your eyes if that feels good, or you can soften the gaze, kind of look through half gaze like you're looking through the eyelashes. And just take a moment before we begin to tell yourself that you are doing this practice for your own well-being. That this practice is a form of care and love and respect for yourself. Because you deserve well-being. Because wholeness and belonging, a sense of safety and ease, is your birthright. And you are worthy of that sense. If at any point during the practice you'd like to place one or both hands on the body, wherever and however it feels natural to do so, I invite you to do that. Just take a few breaths to feel the belly moving with the breath. It might move a little, it might move a lot. Just let the breath move in and out of the body like a wave. And on your next exhale, you can start to hum. Any tone that comes out is fine. It can be soft or loud. But as you hum, focus more on the internal feeling of the vibrations in your body than the external sound that you're making. Keep humming to yourself. And with every hum, feel the vibrations traveling through your body. And see if you can connect with a sense of safety, of okayness, of well-being, of being held even through difficulty. And imagine that that sense is what is being carried through the body with these vibrations that are traveling through every single cell, through all the organs, through the bones, through the limbs. And maybe these vibrations start to take on a visual component, like light or a certain color. And as these vibrations permeate your whole body, feel yourself creating like a force field, a container. And feel or visualize your entire body surrounded and bathed in these vibrations, this feeling, this light. This sense of being okay right where you are. And then anything else that seems other than this sense, other than this feeling, allow it to be included as well. Any fears, any judgments, any conditions or circumstances in your life. Imagine welcoming them into this container, this force field. And feel what it's like to have both. You don't have to push away fear or uncertainty. You don't have to release stress in order to access this wholeness, this wellness. You don't have to fix anything or change anything. You don't have to solve anything in order to bathe yourself in this ease, this peace. This simple sweetness of being alive in this moment. And you can continue humming if the vibration feels helpful, or you can drift into silence. And just take a few moments to feel this force field within you and around you. In which you are safe, in which you are well, in which you are held and whole and complete just as you are. And you can stay in this practice as long as you like or you need or is available to you. And of course, you can come back to it as often as you like or need or is available to you. May this be helpful. May this be supportive. May you be held in compassion and love always.